Look, there's a kernel of truth to this, obviously. In the transition from last year's team that overachieved with this tremendous culture, but still lost in the first round, to now you have championship expectations. Obviously, there's going to be some changes, and some people are going to be a little hesitant to making that full change, especially when they don't have the reward in tow right now. It's a patient process that I understand that this report is trying to say is existing, some of those issues, but it's being blown out of proportion. This team is top 7 offensively and defensively in terms of efficiency. They're 6-2 since these comments. And I'm not going to let the sensibilities, and this is said with all respect, of those who were on the losing Clippers or the team that overachieved now be the tour guide for our championship run in this year with these Clippers and these 2 superstars. So I'm a trust in Kawhi and Doc Rivers, who have won it all, who understand that marathon more so than those who have overachieved but come up short.
Is it real? Yes. Is it a problem? No. This is something that went on with the Golden State Warriors last year. It went on with the Cleveland Cavaliers at various times. And the timing of it is not good for Montrezl Harrell or any of the other malcontents in that locker room, because Kawhi Leonard is on one right now.
Right now.
He is demonstrating and has demonstrated over the last 5 games exactly why there is a double standard. Because the reality is, on every team, there is a double standard. You try to disguise it, you try to minimize it, but the reality is some guys are more valuable than other guys, and the rules are going to be different as a result. Now, the distinction is, and this has always been my concern about the Clippers from the very beginning, how will they wear being the best team, considered by many the best team in the league? How will they handle that, never having demonstrated it and proved it fully over the course of the season and in June? The fact that they're already feeling some of that, and I believe it has affected their play on a night in, night out basis, is what concerns me. But does this issue of some guys not being happy with other guys, does that concern me? No, it does not.
It concerns me a little bit more than it does you guys, just because the culture was why we were told Kawhi and Paul George wanted to be there, right? It's the same thing with the Nets last year, right? The Nets and the Clippers had the 2 best cultures. They looked like they were having fun, and they both overachieved. And now both teams add 2 superstars, and the Nets seem even less happy, but part of it is they don't have Kevin Durant. And look, you can say this doesn't exist. This is how it is everywhere. I don't think it's like that with the Spurs. Okay? I don't think it's like that with the Patriots. The organizations that are synonymous with consistent success, they treat their stars just like they treat everybody else. And I think that's what they thought Kawhi and Paul George would buy into, even if they don't play that much. Look, it's hard to have a guy who's sometimes there and sometimes I got to sit. Sometimes you have shoot-arounds, sometimes you don't. What's my role tonight? Look, just am I getting 15 tonight? Am I getting 25 tonight? Docs always tell me to be ready, but what am I exactly being ready for? I think that's the normal bitching that occurs in every locker room, and it's even worse when your stars sometimes play and sometimes don't. But the thing about that's different in this and the Warriors you talked about. The Warriors had that, but that's after they had won. Clippers haven't won anything yet.
Okay, but
they're already complaining.
But here's the great distinction: is that whether it's the Patriots or the Spurs, and the Spurs in the end ultimately did. When they stopped winning and there was a double standard, now there's going to be other guys saying, hey, wait a minute, what's the deal? When you're winning, the ancillary players will stay quiet and go along for the ride because they're like, you're going to get me the thing that I can't get anyplace else, so that's going to buy my side.
I think it's a problem. I think it's a real problem. I think it's a problem that could affect them in the postseason. These guys need to like and respect each other. I think last year, Doc Rivers all year preached about culture and our identity, and this is how we win. We're a lunch pail team. We grind it out. And you listen to that for a year and have success, and then this year comes around and your whole identity and message change, or it's just like, well, hold on. What we were told last year doesn't apply this year. And they probably should have anticipated Kawhi isn't Tim Duncan.
No, he's not.
And so he doesn't Popovich wasn't able to coach him the way he coached Manu and Tim Duncan and all that other stuff. But these guys were fed a culture that worked, and they believe in it, and then they didn't expect it to change. They expected just to add more talent to that culture, and the talent is changing the culture, and they're dissatisfied.
If this was another superstar, I would agree with you. If this was Kyrie Irving, or if it was a guy who was just an offensive dynamo, I would say that would create an issue. But Kawhi Leonard, when he plays, is very much Montrezl Harrell. He is a two-way player. He is a guy who gives you as much effort defensively as he does offensively. And I don't see a discord in the personalities. I think there is an appreciation for each other, and they can find that. It's simply a matter of, we're in the weeds right now. We're in the middle of the season.
Exactly.
And this guy's getting days off, and I'm going out there. And here's the great distinction. We didn't hear about this in Toronto. You know why? Because Toronto won without Kawhi Leonard. The fact of the matter is, the Clips...
That was my point, though.
No, but they actually had this in Toronto with Kawhi last year. There were issues, trade deadline, they were down 4.
But you didn't hear it.
But it was existing. So here's the thing. Look, expectations live in your head.
That's the issue, expectations.
Expectations, yeah, that's what's killing this team right now. Expectations live in your own imagination. So you're thinking we're supposed to be here. And the players don't make the calculations on the fly that maybe upstairs and outside we can make those calculations. So they're 31-14. Despite the 2 stars missing a combined 30 games. Do you understand how great you guys are when you guys play together? And that's the problem. They're getting cooked by those expectations.
But would you say they are 30-14?
31-14.
31-14. They probably,
third in the West.
They probably expected to have 6 losses. That was their expectation. We're going to be a great team.
But they haven't played together.
Listen, I spoke with one of their assistant coaches before the year started. And he's like, look, we're not going to have Kawhi for 60 games. We're not planning on trying to be really good until March. Assistant coach.
What about Montrezl Harrell?
Okay, again, but
difference.
But again, that's the problem with the wiring of all of these guys, right? Like they got a bunch of junkyard dogs.
Yep.
Right? Like Patrick Beverley.
And Kawhi Leonard is a junkyard dog.
He
when he plays.
When he plays.
When he plays. But it's also, you got to learn how to play with those guys.
Right.
Now we play one way with you, one way without you. And so I don't think it's the end of days sort of problem that they have the chemistry that the Lakers had when LeBron came back, where he's sitting down, at the end of the bench and nobody wants to make eye contact with him. I don't think it's like that. I do think it's a problem because it's really hard to ever find kind of your rhythm.
Yeah. I just don't want to minimize that this double standard happens everywhere. And when it becomes a report, let's not exaggerate it because it happens everywhere. Tom Brady used to have his own parking space. All of a sudden, they yanked it. Tom Brady says no double standard, no double treatment. They pay for TB12, and it's almost circumventing the CBA. But you know what? That is a double standard because you're Tom Brady. Everyone gets preferential treatment no matter who you are and where you are.
Yeah, I would
stay right where you are.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.